The Los Angeles Lakers, the top seed, the defending champs, a 23-point win over the Detroit Pistons, and now they await the winner of the Raptors and the Cavaliers quarterfinal, and we've got that for you coming up here from Las Vegas. Cleveland at 4-1, the 12 seed in the tournament. The Toronto Raptors, a 29 seed, took out Charlotte in overtime yesterday, and let's get to the starting lineups for this afternoon's second quarterfinal. As the Raptors will have Rawle Alkins, who's averaging about 10 points per game so far in this tournament. They will not have OG Anunoby, who is their leading scorer. And it'll be Collin Sexton leading the way in the starting lineup for the Cleveland Cavaliers, the number 8 overall pick in the NBA draft. Had a couple of 20-point games back-to-back and 17 in yesterday's second-round win over the Houston Rockets. Raptors got off to an undistinguished start here at Summer League. They lost 3 consecutive games. In fact, they lost all 3 of their preliminary games and then got wins over Denver, upsetting Denver and Charlotte to reach this quarterfinal matchup. With PJ Carlesimo and George Sedano, I'm Mark Kestisher. We welcome you courtside as the Cavaliers in the white uniforms and the wine numerals get underway.
Hey, you talk about Toronto. They beat a number 4 seed Denver and a number 13 seed Charlotte.
Got a lot of high seeds make it to this round of the tournament. Toronto's a 29 seed. Philadelphia, the 30 and final seed, will be playing in a quarterfinal coming up later tonight against Memphis.
Well, earlier this afternoon, the Pistons, a 30 seed, did not fare very well against the Los Angeles Lakers, the number 1 seed. Hopefully this game will be a lot more competitive.
Alfonso McKinney missing everything on that first attempt. Sexton played well, the highest selection by any team that had played in the finals the previous year since 1986, and a foul as Marcus Lee was trying to set a screen. The foul will be on Cody Miller McIntyre out of Wake Forest University.
Well, you know, Cody likes this opportunity to guard the guy that everybody's talking about, Collin Sexton. So again, this is a chance to step up, and we start right away with what has become the most popular call in the league, the offensive foul. You set a screen, you move.
Marcus Lee got called for the foul, and Siobhan Thompson, we heard him, was about 5 feet in front of us, hit the floor hard. And right now, we're going to be helped up as we get a look at it on the screen. He slipped after the offensive foul committed by Lee. Lost his footing completely and landed hard on that right shoulder.
Tripped as much on his own teammate as he did a foul right there. We got a quick stoppage.
Refs are headed over to the
I can't believe they're looking to see whether that was a flagrant.
That's the only thing I could think of that they'd be looking at.
I'm not even sure it was a foul, to be honest with you. Kind of tripped on his own guy.
They're just taking a peek. Remember, using a lot of G League officials. The common foul is the call on Marcus Lee.
It would have been easier for him to consult with us, to have it right in front of us. Yeah, it would have saved him time. Wouldn't have had to walk all the way over to the other side.
You would have saved him a ton of time.
Yeah, thank you. Play on in the spirit of soccer.
There you go. On World Cup final day.
Ante Zizic
went home
missing in action to watch his beloved team Croatia come up short
against France. As Thompson, who recovered after landing hard on that right shoulder, not able to come up with the pass. Turnover, Raptors.
Yeah, Malachi Richardson didn't do a good job delivering that pass. Threw it behind him.
John Holland, who was on a 2-way with Cleveland last year, gets it over to Sexton. Can beat you in a number of ways. A deep 2 for Collin Sexton, showing us his outside shooting.
Yeah, he's got size. I'm going to tell you what, he does not look like a rookie. You can understand why he played so well for Avery Johnson at Alabama.
Yeah, what a great guy to play under at that position. Entering the professional ranks, champion Avery Johnson. Alkins fires one into the third row. Turnover, Toronto.
Collin Sexton, again, we talked about the combination. I mean, he's a big, strong, physical guy. He can put it on the floor, but he has the range to shoot the NBA three.
Seems to have good change of speeds as well. We've seen him play at a super fast speed, been throwing his body all over the floor. As Akara White mishandles and turns it over. And on the other end, Cody Miller-McIntyre with the basket.
Yeah, sloppy early, but going back to Colin Sexton, the thing I like about him, Kesty, oftentimes you see guys coming out of college and their body's just not ready for the NBA. Is he big? No, he's not big, but he's strong. He can take hits and he can play. I think that's going to help him a lot to make a quick transition.
Listed at 6 feet 2 inches out of Alabama. Three-pointer good for Malachi Richardson.
Where do you go to school, Kesty?
Yeah.
Your alma mater.
Get that out there eventually, within a second or two. Marcus Lee able to stuff it home. Richardson with Toronto, at least the word you're hearing is, been showing a little bit of growth as Rawle Alkins nails one from the perimeter. Richardson, a one-time first-round draft pick, came up with Sacramento for a year and a half.
Yeah, he's one of the many guys here in Summer League that needs to solidify just exactly where he is. Opportunity, yes. Under the gun, very much so. Malachi Richardson showing what he's capable of, and hopefully somebody's going to be interested.
Had 14 points in yesterday's second-round overtime win over Charlotte. Raptors a 4-point lead. Miller-McIntyre misses. Lee comes up with a rebound. Marcus Lee began his career at Kentucky. John Holland barely moves the net on that triple. Holland can score. He's a guy who in the G League put up 43 points early last season against Maine.
Playing for Canton, he was a two-way player last year for the Cavaliers.
And late in the season, he came up for the Cavs and had a 21-point game. I think it was the last game of the season against the Knicks. As Jamel Artis swats that one out of bounds. Toronto on late shot clock inbound after the timeout in Vegas. Toronto Raptors with an 8-7 lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers. 5:54 to go here in the first quarter. The winner is going to take on the Los Angeles Lakers in a semifinal tomorrow.
Well, the good news is 8-7, and the shooting is good. Cavs shooting 60%, the Raptors 50%. The bad news is it's been sloppy. 3 turnovers for the Cavaliers, 2 already for the Raptors.
Late shot clock. Malachi Richardson got off a good shot, couldn't convert. And an and one on the other end for Colin Sexton.
Well, we've already seen the range, the jump shot. There's the quickness in the ball handling, the ability to go coast to coast.
As you pointed out, he's got the length. We know he's got the quickness. Decent defender as well, and I think what James Posey, the Summer League head coach, and certainly Ty Lue, they like the way he competes. And as you said, he's got an NBA-ish body for a young guy, but the competitive spirit
he's strong. Can he put more weight on? Yes, he can, but he's the furthest thing from weak or scrawny. He's very solid, so he can take hits, and he knows he's got to do that.
There you see LeBron James and Ty Lue, the head coach, get a nice hug. That was in between the two games. LeBron was here to watch his Los Angeles Lakers get a quarterfinal win, and
Lou
spent the last number of years with Ty.
LeBron a number of restaurants from when he was in Los Angeles, just
right.
Helping him out so he can get acclimated.
Won a couple of titles, though. Doesn't LeBron have a couple of homes? Hey, you can never find too many good restaurants, no matter what city you're moving to. Rawle Alkins, late shot clock, didn't matter. Goes out of bounds off of Alfonso McKinney.
Cavs have done a nice job defensively. Toronto's had a couple possessions already with the shot clock on their back, struggling to get a shot.
It was Toronto Raptors team that did not have a draft pick this year, so we don't have any drafted rookies on the floor, but a number of undrafted players to a team that won 59 games a season ago as Sexton misses from outside.
As everyone knows, beat Washington in the first round. 59, as you said, a franchise record. #1 seed in the East. Beat Washington in 6 and then unceremoniously swept by the Cavaliers.
John Holland hitting from outside. Three-pointer gives the Cavaliers a 13-8 lead. For those who weren't with us over on ESPN on the first quarterfinal game. We talk about the Pistons and starting over. It's not quite the same with Nick Nurse because he's been on the staff, but still in a way it is when you've run into Toronto and they seem to have been, the stumbling block in your way, and now you've got a new guy who was on your bench but moving a couple seats over.
It's not like it's ever easy to get to an NBA Finals, but when you look at the Eastern Conference in 8 straight years, the team that Mr. James was playing for got to the Finals, and he's now moved out west. You better believe it's a different opportunity for those 15 teams now.
Bring in George Sedano as well with more.
Kessie, I spoke to Nick Nurse earlier, and one of the things that I thought stood out to me was him basically demanding from DeMar DeRozan that he play on the other end of the floor. And DeMar came to him and said, yeah, I can improve on the defensive end. We know how good he is on offense. He's one of the best offensive players in the league. But Nick feels that DeMar can be one of the better two-way players. And that's something that if they want to take the next step and win the Eastern Conference, they're going to need from their star player.
Yeah, good point. And when you talk, George, when you talk to Nick Nurse, he also talked about he wanted Kyle Lowry to be a more vocal, a more demonstrative leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we've seen kind of the body language with those guys. PJ, you and I did that playoff game
against Washington,
game 1, and the storyline heading into that was they had dropped game 1 10 straight times, and that stuff weighed on those guys. So I think it's just a matter of them understanding how good that they can be. They're a 59-win team in the regular season, and how to get that to translate to the postseason.
Well, and the difference with Nick Nurse having been a coach there, he knows them. They know him. They're going to hit the floor running. It's not going to be near the transition you usually have with the first-year coach.
Sure, no question about it. That should smooth over the transition, and it just allows him to have a rapport with those guys that most new guys don't get. You have to start the relationship all over. He doesn't have that. But I'll say this, and you can attest to this as much as anyone, there's a difference between being the guy in the second chair and being the guy in the first chair. You're going to have a lot more difficult conversations than you're used to.
Night and day. And it is different when you've related to guys on one level, and an assistant coach, a lot of times, particularly assistant coaches that have the misfortune of working with me, you're smoothing over a lot of things and you're trying to maintain the good relationship. You don't often have the luxury of doing that when you're the head coach. You got to get stuff. Sometimes you have to be more direct. You have to be more demanding. Nick is not going to have a problem doing that. He's done it internationally. He's done it in the G League, and with great success.
Scoochie Smith hitting a three-pointer there. Had a big second half yesterday in the Cavaliers win over the Rockets. And you want to talk about moving just a couple of seats down. Just ask Ty Lue, who's watching this game today. Remember, he took over for David Blatt mid-season in their championship season in 2016, and admitted it's quite a difference.
Oh, it's certainly. I wonder if Cleveland will continue their tradition of some monumental move in the middle of the year, either change your coach or change half of your roster, so you can regroup midstream, as has been their want the last few years.
PJ, I think the monumental move will be the change of pace on offense. The Cavs always were in the bottom third when it came to pace. And with Colin Sexton, they want him to be aggressive and push and push and push. They're legitimately giving the keys to the kingdom.
2:05 to go here in the first. And the Cavs have the lead.
Awesome. Great defense so far. Great defense, right? When you get down there, show your length. Okay, just one transition three. Make sure we're communicating.
Hey, let's keep getting back in transition. All right, we're doing a good job. Just contain the basketball. We got to rebound, get the 50-50 ball.
James Posey, who's been a Cavaliers assistant since 2014, and Nick Nurse, who oversaw the offense under Dwayne Casey, been with Toronto since the 2013 season, and Nick's got a lot of experience. He was in Europe for a long time and in the G League as well.
A very talented coach. He's more than paid his dues, deserving of this opportunity. I'm still, selfishly, I'm always coming down on the side of coaches, enormously disappointed that you can set a franchise record for wins and be the #1 seed and coach of the year in the NBA and be relieved of your job as Dwayne Casey was. But having said that, the man they chose to succeed, Case, very, very good choice.
And a defensive 3-second call and the technical foul taken. And there's Billy Preston. Getting a jump shot from the wing. Preston, 6'10", listed out of Kansas, was on the Kansas Jayhawks roster beginning of the year, but because of a financial investigation, was not able to
little
play.
Parking violation, and all of a sudden they started investigating the school. They never really came to a conclusion. Billy got tired of waiting, I think, and I think got some bad advice. He ended up going to where?
Adriatic League, yeah.
Bosnia played 3 games and then came back, so clearly a wasted year. Billy Preston, you talked about 4 high schools in 4 years, so Billy's got to show some stability and some consistency. There's no question that the talent is there, but he's got to become a lot more of a professional. He's got a 2-way contract for Cleveland.
Billy Preston will head to the line. A reminder for you, the Summer League quarterfinals continue tonight here in Las Vegas on ESPN2. Next game up, the Celtics and the Trailblazers. Portland unbeaten so far here in the Summer League. Sixers and Grizzlies still to come at 10 Eastern time.
Kesty, amazing how much more quiet, not in the building, but in the city, Las Vegas. All 30 teams were here. So many owners, general managers, coaches. In the entire NBA, this is the only time in the year anymore. There's no more annual meeting. Everybody's here. From the owners on down, the Board of Governors met. Coaches, doctors, players, everybody was here. Literally the entire NBA in town. Now starting to go. We're down to 8 teams. Actually, we'll be down to 4 at the end of today.
That's right. Technically down to 7 right at the moment with
Exactly.
the Lakers having their win over Detroit.
Detroit 1 foot out the door.
That's right. Double comes against Preston. 3 to shoot. Dakota Mathias, really good shooter, missing there. Brodzianski, the offensive rebound and miss. Cavaliers can't take advantage. Final half minute of the first quarter. Marcus Teague lobbing one, and Chris Boucher stuffs it home.
Chris Boucher, great story. I was doing the Pac-12 tournament 2 years ago when Chris Boucher got hurt right here in Las Vegas in a different building. But in the semifinals of the Pac-12, was on Golden State's team all last year. A 2-way player, I believe, never got a chance to play. Shot blocker, runs the floor, talented player. It's great that he's even back playing basketball.
That's what he does best. Another block shot for Boucher. Thought he had an earlier block shot, but was called for a foul. Look at the length on Boucher, and here he is finishing at the rim.
Well, that's an easy finish inside, but what Chris Boucher does extremely well is the shot block. He's averaging 8 points a game, 6 boards, but 3 blocks. That's an impressive number for the minutes he's played.
Final second of the quarter. Boucher can also shoot it, but misses the 3. And the Cleveland Cavaliers have a 20-16 lead after 1 quarter in this quarterfinal. Cleveland Cavaliers 4-1 so far here in Summer League, and a 4-point lead over the Raptors at the end of 1. As John Hollins 6 points leading the way for Cleveland. Colin Sexton kind of a quiet 5 points, does have a couple assists.
Yeah, got going a little bit early and then just kind of, relaxed. He's been aggressive. I expect when he gets it revved up, we're going to see a lot. They're going to need a lot more for him. They are the number 12 seed, but they need him to show the way.
Malachi Richardson probing and gets fouled here in the opening 10 seconds of quarter number 2. Colin Sexton will have George Hill, still has 1 year left on his deal, $19 million deal that came over in the midseason trade with Sacramento, amongst the many trades. Those will be your 2 guys fighting it out.
George Hill is a good pro for Colin Sexton to learn from. Obviously, he played for about as good a college coach as you could ever want to play for if you want to play point guard in the NBA. And of course, that's Avery Johnson. But playing with and behind or next to George Hill is going to be great for him. George Hill plays both ends of the floor, was a very good player for San Antonio and the Indiana Pacers, and did a very solid job for Cleveland last year. Can shoot it, can run the pick and roll, is a willing defender, and is a really good professional.
It should be interesting to see how Cleveland plays. We talked about their pace and bringing in a guy like Colin Sexton, but you've got guys who have succeeded at the NBA level before LeBron James. We're talking about Kevin Love and the numbers he put up at Minnesota, and Kyle Korver, I'll throw him in there with Atlanta.
Well, J.R.
And J.R. Smith, who's been around the league. So how do those guys operate without LeBron as we move forward into next season.
Well, George Sedano talked about them wanting to play a lot quicker. George can do that. Colin Sexton clearly loves to play that way. JR would be very happy. I'll tell you who played well in Summer League. He's not playing today. They've shut him down. But Jetty Osman did a very nice job. I think we're going to see a lot more of Jetty Osman this year, Kesty.
We saw Jetty Osman here at Summer League. Has not played now 3 games in a row. I think they've seen everything they want to see out of the 6'8" home hybrid from Turkey as Boucher slams it for the Toronto Raptors. First points here of the second quarter.
When Jetty was playing, he averaged 20 a game, 8 boards, 4.5 assists, and just under 3 steals. So, I mean, he played both ends of the floor and played like you would expect a veteran to play. I'd say veteran, 1 year in the league, but again, not a rookie, not somebody playing in the Summer League for the first time.
Jetty Osman not with the team today. He was supporting the club the last couple days. Ante Zizic, 6'11" Croatian, also not with the Cavaliers. He went home to Croatia on, I think it was on Friday. I've lost track of my days.
Yep.
And was back home where he hadn't been in almost a year to watch the World Cup final today.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of years actually before he'd been back. Ante and Jetty, of course, on the roster. John Holland and Carl White also going to be on the team. John Holland with a two-way last year playing for Canton.
8 seconds to go in the possession. This is Marcus Teague driving. Boucher grabs the loose ball, defended by Preston. We told you about Zizic going home and, of course, going to Croatia. These were the sights and scenes in Croatia earlier today for the World Cup as they took on France and eventually lost.
I'll tell you, there was a ton of scoring. I didn't expect that.
4-2 was the final.
Yeah.
France winning its second World Cup.
I was listening to our Taylor Twellman. He just said, hey, France evidently has the talent. They were just questioning whether they were going to get it together. Well, they got it together.
Boucher.
Guess who?
With the block shot of Matthias.
You don't teach that skill. Chris Boucher is a big-time shot blocker. Dakota Matthias, left hand off glass. That's what you're supposed to do. Chris Boucher wasn't having any of it. Did that very, very often for Dana Altman at the University of Oregon.
Chris Boucher, who was born in St. Lucia, was raised in Montreal. Really didn't take to playing basketball until
started late.
Later in his teenage years. I think he was 19 when he actually got noticed in a local tournament and ended up going to junior college, a couple different junior colleges. And because he was named the Junior College Player of the Year, that's when Oregon offered him the scholarship.
I'll tell you what, he got hurt just the other side of the strip, T-Mobile Arena,
yes.
The Pac-12 tournament. Really horrific injury and derailed. I thought Oregon had a chance to win the national championship. Still ended up getting to the Final Four, but that was an important piece taken out of their team in the semifinals of the Pac-12 tournament just 2 years ago.
Remember Jordan Bell was on that team as well with now with the Golden State Warriors. 10 straight. In fact, Boucher has the last 10 Toronto points off that dunk. Are dismissed. Tip ends up in the hands of Marcus Teague. Teague trying to revive his NBA career. Let it go on silent after about a season and a half after he was one and done at Kentucky. Was on that Anthony Davis championship team in 2012 in Lexington. Ollie Alkins, undrafted out of Arizona, the ball handler.
Ollie Alkins coming off an impressive performance against Charlotte that got him here, 25 points, 11 boards. Shot 5 for 7 from 3. Yesterday, their win over Charlotte, 87-84 in OT.
Had a big one late, and here he comes off the steal. Was looking for the foul against Artis, no call. Get it to Boucher right at the 10. 12 points off the bench for Chris Boucher, who's given Toronto the lead.
It's the Chris Boucher show here today. We talked about the shot blocking, but the scoring. Show him, big man. Way to go, Chris.
You guys are doing a good job down there. It's a battle down on the glass, though, right? No more offensive rebounds down there.
Hey, good job, fellas. Good pace. We playing solid defense down there. They making tough shots. We all right. But when they miss, just rebound and push the pace. Make sure we running wide. Bigs run down. Hey, keep coming. Drags or whatever. Use the open court.
Good job. Finish the quarter. Finish the quarter. Team. 1, 2, 3. Team.
Well, James Posey should certainly talk about defense. He was an excellent defender when he was in the league, but you hear what George Sedano referenced, talking about them running wide, get it up and down the floor. That's the way the Cavs want to play.
Right now, the Raptors in the midst of an 11-2 run, much of it led by Chris Boucher. Preston just misses on a three. Elkins tried to save a wild pass and couldn't. Down court, here comes Sexton. Oh, lost the handle for a moment, but recovers.
Didn't look nice, but got in. James Posey said that's a travel. Damon Jones is next to him, a couple of former NBA players. Damon Jones would love to play up and down the floor and fire threes. He could do that.
7 points for Colin Sexton, their #1 pick. Giddy Potts missing from outside. One of my favorite. If we have an all summer league names team.
All names.
Well, he's being physical with Holland off the ball, but here's Preston.
Strong move
underneath.
Yeah, very strong move right there. Here's Colin Sexton talking about him going full court. You be the judge. Is this a travel or not? Knee it, came up with it. Didn't look good, but he got it. It was off his own knee. I have to agree. I think it was J.B. DeRosa on the call, or no call, which is sometimes better than a call. Sometimes the ones not made are better.
DeRosa is in the refereeing lineage.
Is it Joe? I was going to say,
believe
is
that's
it Joe?
Joe's son, yeah.
Joe DeRosa is an excellent collegiate official. Was in college, great official in the NBA, and an excellent official in college games. I see him a lot in the Southwest. I don't want to limit what leagues he works in. I'm sure he works in a lot of them, but I see him a lot down there in the Big 12, I believe.
I've bumped into him a number of times in the Big 12 as well.
Yeah, very, very good official, Joe DeRosa.
J.B. DeRosa, number 62. You can see his back.
JB, I can't say that yet. I haven't seen you enough. But you got big shoes to fill.
4 seconds to shoot for Malachi Richardson. Hand in his face, comes up short. Did McKinney beat the shot clock? They really did.
You think that was a pass by your fellow Orangeman there, Malachi?
Absolutely. It's a Wittenberg special. Rawle Alkins physical down on the low box. Last touch by the Raptors out of bounds to Cleveland.
Rawle not nearly as productive so far today as he was yesterday. He put up good numbers. He's been solid the entire time. 10 points, over 5 rebounds a game. But against Charlotte, 25, 11 boards, shot 5 for 7 for 3. He's been very quiet so far this afternoon.
Now, you mentioned yesterday was his breakout game, 25 points and 11 rebounds. There's Sexton going strong to the rim, couldn't finish on a dunk attempt. McKinney hitting a three. Alfonso McKinney finished his collegiate career at Wisconsin Green Bay.
He got his feet set there. He's been struggling shooting the ball from the field, shooting in the mid-20s so far in Summer League. Looked good on that one.
Biggest lead of the afternoon for the Toronto Raptors, who have held Cleveland to 7 points here in the second quarter. Scoochie Smith hits Marcus Lee, and the long-running hook doesn't come close.
That was a tough pass he threw to Marcus Lee. Bounce pass would have served much better.
Can't try to go behind the back. Ball ends up in the hands of Rawle Alkins, who went for the Showtime dunk, but foul was on the floor. It'll be side out for Toronto.
A couple of nice steals right there. Scoochie did a good job getting down on the floor, getting after it, and then turned it right back over.
Scoochie Smith, a 3-year captain, 3-time captain in his 4 years at Dayton. Went undrafted a year ago, played in Australia, also played in the G League. Cavs struggling on the offensive end here in this quarter. 3:20 to go. Near steal. Scoochie Smith finds himself open and delivers.
Scoochie spent some time down in Cairns, down under, played in Australia. And came back and finished up the year, played 8 games for Canton, Cleveland's G League team.
Got 6 points today, had 17 yesterday.
He was on fire. Yeah, he won the game for him basically at the end. Talked about Colin Sexton, how well he played, and Rawle Alkins, but Scoochie was there in the fourth quarter when it mattered.
John Holland looks up, leads the break with 2:40 to go. Here in this first half, it'll be Holland hitting on the baseline. Holland out of Boston University, where he was the Player of the Year in America East back in 2011. He's got 8 points, and he's tied this game at 32. Timeout here in Vegas. Nets guard Spencer Dinwiddie made the trip here to Las Vegas, spent time in the Thomas & Mack Center concourse interacting with fans and talking about the NBA G League. Dinwiddie made multiple stops in the G League with the Windy City Bulls and the Grand Rapids Drive, and now he has carved out a nice role as a point guard for the Brooklyn Nets. And we are seeing that. We just saw John Holland, who had a two-way, played in Canton in G League and tied this game at 32.
I'll tell you, I don't know that the average fan out there, our viewers, appreciate the improvement in the G League, how important it is as Malachi Richardson finally connects. But you talk about Nick Nurse getting an opportunity right now. It's not just for the players. We have general managers down there. Elton Brand is a general manager down in the G League. You've got guys that get a chance to coach. Young coaches get a chance to be head coach or an assistant coach in the G League. We're closing in on now. I think we're up at 28. Every team will have their own affiliate. A lot of them are lucky enough for the affiliate to be right there. The New Washington, for the first time, is going to have one. It's going to be called the Capital City Go-Go, but it's in their new practice facility right there. So you can call up. Scott can get hurt. The guy on the big team sprains his ankle in the morning. He plays in it. They bring somebody up from the G League in the afternoon. It's great, and we're finally, the stigma is gone. Is that Malachi again?
Malachi off the opposite foot.
The stigma's gone. In the beginning, it wasn't like baseball. You didn't have established players going down. Now if a guy gets hurt, you bring him, let him have a couple of games down there. You know what it's like, Kesty, during the season in the NBA. There's so little practice time. You can't bring a guy back if he misses a lot of time. Now he'll go down to the G League. The stigma's gone. You know, veteran players will go down, play a couple games, the way baseball's done that for years. So the G League just gets better and better every year. Soon, like here in Las Vegas, we'll have all 30 teams with their own G League affiliate.
NBA's done a nice job with their developmental league, which was initially called the D League for many
now
years.
It's the G League.
Rebranded the Gatorade
exactly.
League. This will be its second year, and you add officials to that as well. We've got G League officials.
That's how they get their training. No question about it. So many good aspects of the G League, and it only gets better every year.
I think your point about the proximity, and it isn't always that way. Remember, Miami has Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So sometimes
a couple teams didn't have them, but I mean, you're talking like OKC.
Oklahoma City's
right across
the example,
street.
yeah.
It's going to be the same situation in Washington. The teams that are fortunate enough to have it close by, it makes a difference. The Knicks have Westchester. I mean, there's a lot of them that their own team is right close by.
Raptors get a timeout on the floor. Ball was loose, and they'll keep possession with 5 to shoot when we return.
This is On the Clock, Colin Sexton. I do have some game day superstitions, but I can't tell. I'll probably be a track athlete. I would say all the good point guards, Russ, Chris Paul, John, Kobe, 81. A few players told me to just go out there and have fun. That was the biggest thing. And also listen to coaches and learn, because during this time, it's big for your progression.
On the clock with the Cavaliers rookie Colin Sexton. That's great. He wants to see those guys. There's going to be some challenges when you get the point guards night after night after night in this league.
It's good he's confident. I don't know that he's going to want to see them that much, to be honest with you.
Well, Kobe does have to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's good. I'll tell you what I like, the short, quick answers. A lot of the players out there would learn well from that.
No shot clock violation
Really
on the
good.
clock.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I'm looking at the stat sheet. Chris Boucher has 12 points. I believe he's the only player in the game in double figures. There's
is
never
correct.
been a game where Chris Boucher has played almost a half, and he's been the only player in double figures.
Billy Preston went down hard, holding onto that left hip as he tries to shake it off, wondering where the foul was called. 14 to shoot, and a timeout called by the Cavaliers. So timeout here. Billy Preston will try to shake off the hip. 1:06 to go here in the half. So it wasn't just Billy Preston, but Colin Sexton also got mixed up
Yeah, I think Cody Miller-McIntyre, he reaches in right there and gets his left eye, gets his eye, I'm not sure which eye it was. You see as he's walking over, he's holding it. Looks like he's in a little bit of pain. In fact, he's walking back toward us right now. He's still squinting, trying to clear his eye. Billy Preston is comforting him. I'm sure that's not doing any good whatsoever for Colin right now. So my eye still hurts, Billy. I don't care what you're saying.
Rubbing the left eye as he gets set here. And he'll take the inbounds. 13 to shoot, 1 minute to go in the half.
Favorite
off
foul.
the ball against Toronto. Your favorite is John Holland got hit. And the Raptors over the limit will put Holland at the line.
I think he called it on Malachi.
He did.
Yeah.
First on Malachi Richardson. John Holland with a chance to be the first double-figure scorer for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Sexton just 3 of 7 this afternoon with 8. Holland now with 10 points. As Cleveland gets within 4, 1 minute left here in the half. Winner of this game will take on the unbeaten Los Angeles Lakers in the semifinals tomorrow.
John Holland did a good job getting in front of Malachi Richardson, and then maybe he embellished it a little bit. But it worked. He got the offensive foul on Malachi.
Second foul on Malachi Richardson. Puts the ball in the hands of Colin Sexton. To Billy Preston, and both guys got a little nicked up, didn't seem to matter.
And a simple play, too. Colin Sexton made a good decision. He saw the traffic, just came to a jump stop by the dotted line and found his teammate.
Richardson called for the travel on the move against Holland.
Good decision. I'm going in the lane. No, there's a big guy waiting for me. Fine. I'll find my teammate.
Sexton pushing the ball hard. Don't know if he thought Billy Preston was going to be able to get through the traffic there on that pass.
Yeah, there was too much timber there in front of him that time. I'm bragging on him the time before. Decision was not as good that time. Avery would have been mentioning that from the bench.
Nick Nurse, meanwhile, from the bench, put up the stop sign. About 3 seconds difference here. High screen for Alkins. A little step back 3. 3.5 seconds to go. Pressure on Jamel Artis. And the Cavs will not get off a last-second heave. As the Toronto Raptors, led by Chris Boucher off the bench with 12 and Sexton with 8 points, heads to the locker room. Cavaliers trailing by 2 at the break. Welcome back to the MGM Resorts NBA Summer League at the half. Quarterfinal number 2. Cavaliers coming through the tunnel, coming out to the floor. They trail the Toronto Raptors by 2 points. Mark Kestisher, PJ Carlesimo, George Sedano with you. And the leading scorer for the Toronto Raptors, a guy who's only played 8.5 minutes in the game off the bench, Chris Boucher.
I never thought I would hear that said. Amazing. I love Chris Boucher. I'm so happy to see him back healthy again and playing. But scoring, that's not what I expected. But he's doing it a lot of different ways. He's running the floor very well, which obviously is important. Easy finish inside. He's also got a couple of blocks. We're used to him doing that. 5 boards on top of that. Impressive performance. See him still. He's got his Golden State uniform just waved recently by them. I hope he sticks with somebody. I like Chris Boucher a lot, and he makes things happen on the defensive end.
John Holland leading the Cavaliers with 10 points so far, but we're tracking Colin Sexton, their outstanding rookie, with 8.
Yeah, he got poked in the eye, but again, showing the glimpses. Again, good look in there. The penetration, finds his teammate. I like the decision making. He knows when he can go all the way to the rim. He knows when to pull up and trust that jump shot, and it's a good jump shot. I think he's going to be an effective three-point shooter in the league also, and we keep referencing it, but it's important. Playing a year for Avery Johnson was a tremendous, tremendous way for him to break into this league.
Tremendous learning experience, took advantage of it as well, was the SEC Freshman of the Year last year at Alabama. The Young Bull. As you see,
it's a great nickname.
John Holland and Marcus Lee coming on the floor. Scoochie Smith looks like he's going to start this second half.
I don't see Colin on the bench either. He may be in the training room or seeing a doctor.
We got poked in the eye, that left eye.
Hopefully it's not a scratch, just literally poked in the eye. not seeing him on the bench. I'm seeing Damon Jones, another good point guard there, but I don't think James Posey's going to put him in the game.
So Scoochie Smith, who was the second half spark plug yesterday for the Cavaliers in their second round win over Houston, gets the nod to start this second half for the Cavaliers. They're going into the mid post. McKinney stripped by Scoochie Smith, out of bounds. So if you just joined us late in the first half, here's a look at Colin Sexton right there, get poked in that left eye.
And he actually, as he was fighting over, as he was trying to fight over the screen, that's when he got hit.
It's just by Billy Preston.
Yeah, it took him a while to do it. I think Cody Miller McIntyre got him.
Malachi Richardson trying to get that pass inside to Siobhan Thompson. Went off the foot of a Cavaliers defender.
Ty Lue's down the end of the bench too, sitting courtside, although I don't think they're gonna bring him in. Here's Colin.
Got about halfway down the tunnel.
And he's still squinting. Well, you know the rule of thumb in Summer League, Kesty, if there's even any question at all, they're gonna rule on the side of caution. If that is bothering him, he will not play.
Over the back foul is going to go against the Cavaliers. He's already played in 5.5 games here in the Summer League, and now he's going to
Here he comes.
Jog a little speed jog past the Toronto Raptors bench and right over to the Cavaliers bench, and we'll see if...
I thought James Posey was going to tell him just make a U-turn and go right back in the game, not in the locker room.
We'll see if he's a player right now on the end of the bench. Meanwhile, Carl White had a chance to read Adam Silver's signature on the ball. Missing on that one. Hawkins pulling his way down low. Thompson blocked by Marcus Lee. Jamel Artis was trying a spin move at the free throw line and then commits his third foul. Oh, third turnover. I'm sorry, third turnover.
It took a long time to get Colin into the game.
Comes Colin Sexton back into the game with 8:23 to go. Third quarter is a good sign for the Cavaliers. And their top draft choice, number 8 overall.
Great sign for the Cavaliers.
Peeking across the way at the shot clock, waiting for Miller McIntyre to make his move, and puts it off the glass.
That's
and
a tough shot, going left, shooting back across your body with the right arm. Very good play.
Sexton finds the open man. John Holland having himself a nice quarterfinal with a 3. 13 points. And we've got a Cleveland foul on the other end. It's going to go against Marcus Lee. A chance to talk about Cody Miller McIntyre, who's defending Colin Sexton. He was undrafted a couple of years ago. He's been overseas. Played in Belgium, played in Russia, and has played well here in the Summer League.
He's done a very nice job. Right in the middle, almost 7 points a game, 6 assists, 4 boards too for Cody Miller McIntyre. 5 rebounds, 5 assists yesterday against Charlotte. I don't want to say he also had 5 turns, but played well.
24 years of age out of Wake Forest. Cody Miller McIntyre went overseas to Belgium and led the Belgian league in scoring and in assists. Then went to Russia and averaged about 8 assists per game, and now trying to see if he can get noticed here in the Summer League. And as you pointed out, has played pretty well for the Raptors.
He's done a nice job.
Carl White with 2 to shoot. Contested jumper and a foul on Rawley Alkins with less than 2 seconds to go in the possession.
Nick Nurse is upset. I don't know whether he's upset by the call or upset with Rawley. I'm going to go he's upset with the call. It was not a high percentage shot.
Spinning and fading on the baseline, and instead Carl White will get a couple of free throws. And with 7:01 to go in the third, tied game. Reminder tonight, 2 more quarterfinal games here on ESPN2. Celtics and the unbeaten Blazers at 8 Eastern time. Then the Sixers and the Grizzlies follow at 10 Eastern time. Mark Jones, Chauncey Billups, George Sedano will be on hand for the final 2 quarterfinals here in Las Vegas.
George is putting in a full day's work.
He's been here right from the start as we work our way to Tuesday's championship game. Hawkins missing, ball out of bounds. Cleveland with the lead and possession, bringing it up.
They haven't been up and down the floor as much as I thought they would be. It's a close game, but it hasn't been a real quick pace at all.
Game that really hasn't found a lot of flow as John Holland was looking for contact on that shot. It's a deep 2. All net for Holland.
Malachi couldn't believe it.
Holland's got 15 for the Cavaliers. Carl White knocked it away. Artis gonna knock it to the far end. Goes out of bounds to Toronto, but 2 guys were on the deck in the Cavs bench cheering. Here's that play for John Holland. I mean, his toe right on the tape. 15 points for Holland, who played 1 minute of playoff basketball with the Boston Celtics a couple of Aprils ago. Has been overseas, France, Spain, and Turkey. 2-way player last year for the Cavaliers.
That Boston-Portland game, at least by seeding, is one of the best matchups, a 10 versus 2. You mentioned the Celtics. That's going to be a good one.
We've had a lot of 20-somethings and a 30. Philadelphia will be playing later on. Sexton against Marcus Teague, 5 to shoot. Shot blocked by Teague. The younger brother of Jeff Teague of the Minnesota Timberwolves gives it up to McKinney, who misses from deep.
Wide open.
Another offensive foul, and they get Marcus Lee once again. He's racking them up here in this quarterfinal game. Cavaliers have taken the lead. Colin Sexton walking back out onto the floor. Cavaliers a 44-41 lead. Colin won't get a chance to play with LeBron James, who earlier today watched his new Lakers team advance to the semis and had a chance to catch up with his former boss, Ty Lue. And there's a look, PJ, and George Sedano is with us, as well as the guys who are on this roster moving forward.
Well, Kevin Love is obviously where it's going to start with. I don't think he will be the same Kevin Love we saw in Minnesota, but he's going to be at 20 and 12 or something along. I expect him to score north of 20 points. He's certainly going to, I think, get more than 10 rebounds a game, and he'll be more the focal point of the offense. His outlet passing is still going to be important because that'll be Colin Sexton will be out running. George Hill, I think, will be pushing the ball more this year than he did in the past. Obviously, the more open looks they can get Kyle Korver, the better that's going to be. JR with a chance to do a lot more. We're used to seeing JR kind of when things bog down, goes under one of his streaks and just starts knocking things down. So a different Cleveland team without question, but not a team that I think is going to fall off a cliff.
Quite a sequence by Carl White and John Holland that time. 2 guys that want to be on the end of that Cavaliers roster. Sexton, about as fast a Euro step as you can see. Let's take a look at that roster as we bring in George Sedano and George. Colin Sexton, obviously George Hill will be there to mentor him. Jordan Clarkson, remember, and Larry Nance came over in a trade, and I think Jetty Osman going to get a chance to have a little bit more run than the 11 minutes per game we saw last year.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And they just added Channing Frye yesterday, I believe, or the day before.
Back home, yep. Back home in Cleveland.
Yeah, they added Channing Frye. I don't know if I'm as optimistic as you, PJ. I think that they'll be in that mix for that 8th seed, but I don't know if they're a playoff team.
Oh, I don't disagree with you, but I don't think they're going to be a terrible team. I still think there's too much talent. They're going to win games. They have veterans also, George, which it's going to be interesting to see what they're capable of doing. Are they, at the end of their careers and out of gas, or do they still have a little something left and you didn't get a chance to see it? Because as great a player as LeBron is and as unselfish a player as he is, he's very different to play with. So some of these players are going to get a chance to show either what they're capable of doing or no longer capable of doing.
I think it starts with Kevin Love. I think you brought up a great point earlier. And can he be any semblance of the Minnesota Kevin Love? If he can do that, then he can keep them afloat at being a team that could potentially be an 8 seed or a 7 seed in the Eastern Conference. I happen to think that the Pistons with Blake Griffin, we talked about them the last game when we were on ESPN, between them and the Lakers, how Blake and Andre and Reggie Jackson and those guys, they dealt with a lot of injuries last year, and obviously the change with Blake Griffin. I think they can be a team that can get into the playoffs. But if you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, guys, Toronto's in. I mean, this is barring major injuries. Toronto's in, the Celtics are in, the Sixers are in. I think the Pacers are in, the Bucks are in, the Wizards are in. You always got to bank on Miami being about a 45-win team because Eric Spoelstra is just so good at what he does. So there's really only going to be one spot. So it may come down to Detroit and Cleveland and Charlotte fighting for that last spot. Maybe even Brooklyn can sneak in there because I love what Sean Marks and Kenny Atkinson are doing.
Well, those are the teams that you're looking at. Obviously, if you look at the mix, especially Detroit, from where they finished last season, not as strongly as they had hoped to. But now with new coach and all those guys getting together, for the first time this year with Blake. And then the Cavaliers are kind of that wild card on potentially being in and being out.
I like it when George goes through the litany of some of those other teams. We got some teams that haven't done anything yet. And we've been saying every year, this is the year they're going to make a move. This is the year they're going to make a move. They haven't made moves. So I kind of like Cleveland. I think that all the winning they've done, all the experience they have, I think it may translate. It's going to be interesting. Eastern Conference is certainly going to be different, but I think it's going to be very interesting. And you have a lot of teams that were impacted with injuries last year. I mean, we're not even trying. You talk about what happened in Boston. You talk about John Wall missing half the year. Talked about Reggie Jackson and the problems Detroit had. If teams are healthy, they're going to be markedly different than they were last year.
Cleveland Cavaliers in the midst of a 15-0 run. Brodzianski hit that last basket, and Boucher missing from 3. Toronto Raptors have 2 points in this third quarter with 2:40 to go in the third. Brodzianski, we've seen him inside. And the big man from Slovakia missing from outside as well. But it brings us to a timeout with 2:32 to go. Cavaliers have held Toronto to 2 in the quarter, leading by 11. The Junior NBA World Championship is the NBA's first ever global youth basketball tournament for top 13 and 14-year-old boys and girls teams from around the world. The inaugural event at ESPN Wild World of Sports in Orlando will feature 32 teams that will compete this August on Fox and FS1. And for more, you can visit juniornba.com/World Championship.
Esty, during a commercial break, I'm watching the lead-in Ortiz for the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby. Where are you headed tomorrow, brother?
Tonight, headed to our nation's capital. Bryce Harper. And the
hometown guy's going to do it?
He's going to do it. He's been talking about it. Right here, Scoochie Smith trying for the long ball and misses that one.
That was long.
Bounds.
That was long for an NBA 3.
Yeah, just a short trip to Washington, D.C. Not too bad.
Yeah, right down the road.
That'd be fun. That's always a lot of fun. Of course, that event also on ESPN, television, and radio.
We talked about the East, the Wizards. One of these years, they're going to break through. Now, again, finished 8th or 7th this year, but a lot, 8th, actually. George and I did that series, the 1-8 Toronto-Washington series. But again, John Wall misses 41 games. A lot of excitement there.
Would John Wall be swimming in the pools like Ovechkin after the Capitals won the Stanley Cup? Can you see a similar type party?
He'll be everywhere. He'll be in the reflecting pool. He'll be in all the hotel pools. He'll be in the Potomac. No, absolutely not.
Hey, Boucher just ended the Cavs' 15-0 run and matches their entire output of this third
Marcus
quarter.
Teague would go 1 for 15 is not a good way to start. Marcus Teague with the good layoff right there to Chris Boucher.
Sexton, the high floater goes down for the Rook. 54 points on the board for the Cavs, 11.
That looked like another former San Antonio point guard, not Avery Johnson. Tony Parker with the little teardrop in the lane.
Current Hornets point guard?
Yes, that's hard to say. It's going to be hard to see him. Where was it? Teal, blue, whatever the color is.
I believe that is
Boy,
teal or turquoise.
It's not silver and black.
Preston blocked by Boucher. Loose ball comes out to Sexton. 10 seconds to shoot. Malachi Richardson, aggressive defense. Brodzianski. Boucher gambled and lost, and a chance at a three-point play for Vladimir Brodzianski.
It's a nice catch. Better finish inside. Who gambled? Is that Chris Boucher?
It was Boucher.
Dana
yeah.
Altman taught you better than that, Chris. Don't do that. Helped on the baseline. Bad move.
Brodzianski was third-team All-Big 12 last year at TCU, playing for Jamie Dixon.
Yeah, he started out, changed coaches, and he and Jamie worked out really well. Actually had one of his last games in Detroit in the NCAAs with your alma mater and Michigan State. Jaron, we had a lot of players in that region.
It's an ugly game, as I recall. Wasn't that game in the 40s or the 50s?
Very ugly.
Had a beautiful finish. I think Malachi Richardson would agree as he gets fouled.
Yeah, well, you and Coach Boeheim are the only two that would call that a beautiful game. But
Malachi Richardson, who spent his first year and a half with the Sacramento Kings, played 47 games in Sacramento, was traded to the Raptors in February, but played mostly in the G League, had one game logged with the Raptors.
Played for the 905, am I going to get it right?
Toronto 905, Jerry Stackhouse's team.
Yep.
Formerly Stack's now on a...
Nick was there years ago. Yeah, it was funny to see Stack sitting on the other bench.
40 seconds left in this third quarter. Colin Sexton with a peek over to James Posey and the Cavaliers bench. And you get a look at the three-point shot. Brodzianski tried to keep it alive, but here come the Raps. 25 seconds to go in the third. Hawkins tried to split the double, lost the ball. Richardson right there to reset. 4 seconds difference on the shot clock. Richardson blocked from behind by Brodzianski. Here's a 3-on-2. 5 seconds to go in the third. Drive by Artis. Ooh, nice play with the left hand.
Good finish with Jamel. He had 13 and 9 against Houston to get him here.
The Cavaliers just outscored Toronto 21-4 in the third quarter, and they lead going to the fourth. "30 teams coming to Las Vegas. Only one will take home the Summer League trophy."
The Legary Hall, Warren Legary, Albert Hall. Founders of this and have done an exceptional job running it. We see the Lakers have already advanced.
Lakers, of course, won that trophy last year. They'll get the winner of this Toronto-Cleveland game in one of tomorrow's semifinals. Boston and Portland, Philadelphia and Memphis still to come here at the Thomas and Mack Center in quarterfinal action. Vladimir Brodzianski been active here in this second half, but just got blocked and rejected by Boucher.
Can't bring that soft stuff around Chris Boucher.
McKinney from the corner. They were 2 for 20, the Raptors, in third quarter shooting, not getting off to a good start here.
Talking about that Detroit first and second round NCAA. Dakota Mathias was there. Isaac Haas was there. Got a ton of players that played that same first 2 games in the NCAA. Well, your beloved Orange came to the top. They had to win 3. They were in the play-in game in Dayton to even get there.
The first 4
in
Dayton. Malachi Richardson with the Raptors jersey, averaging 12.5 points. He has shot the ball well from 3, not specifically today, but was a 50% shooter, 12 of 24 in the Summer League coming in.
Maybe the #1, along with defense, way to impress a team, show that you can become a reliable three-point shooter. Coaches are always looking for that.
Chris Boucher got a technical foul, hence the technical free throw. Seven to shoot, and a foul on the Jamel Artis shot. Malachi Richardson.
He has been in every play. He's been in the thick of it the entire game, Malachi.
Richardson with 8 points tonight, but that is foul number 4.
Jason Phillips in the background, one of the veteran NBA officials.
Wearing a blue coat on the far right side.
And he's talking to security as he should be. Johnny Altelia,
there he
the
is.
director of security for the Raptors. He's about to escort Jason out of the building. Too many officials in this building.
I noticed last night you guys had focused on a couple of times the NBA officials. I think Jason Phillips was here as well yesterday, coming out on the floor in a break to talk with the 3 G League officials as pointers.
Well, hey, mentoring the officials, it's important. Again, the amount of officials that are here, the quality, the veteran officials that are here, you couldn't ask for a better teaching or learning experience than a lot of these young G League officials or aspiring G League officials have here in Las Vegas.
Malachi Richardson now 2 of 7 from 3 off that miss. Matthias also struggling from outside.
He's such a good three-point shooter. Every time he misses a shot, I'm surprised, Dakota Matthias, but he's struggling today. Billy Preston.
Rejected by Preston.
My records, I have a triple-double.
23-4 run, 25-4 run, and a chance at another point. Scoochie Smith heads to the line.
Marcus Teague said, I fouled him. How did he make the shot? Well, he'll tell you what, he didn't foul him very hard. If anything, he helped. He got a little bit of ball.
Scoochie Smith. Deshaun, his given name. Grandfather gave him the nickname Scoochie. Speaking of the first 4, played his college basketball in Dayton.
Exactly. You come up with Giddy's first name, I'm really going to be impressed. Your guy's in the game right now.
Nathaniel.
Giddy Potts.
You impressed?
Yes, very.
Apparently his mom still calls him Nathaniel. Giddy Potts bringing it up. The story that I read was when he was being delivered, when his mom was in labor, she was giggly. And so his aunt called him Giddy. But the mom never took to the nickname. Whether he was getting in trouble or not, it was Nathaniel.
Because she was remembering the childbirth. She didn't think it was anything to be giddy about.
There's Giddy Potts out of Middle Tennessee. Grew up a big DeMar DeRozan fan as well, and now wearing that Toronto jersey, undrafted this past year.
Pride of Compton. Nick Nurse asking him to focus more on the defensive end. Just don't lose your offensive focus tomorrow.
Until that free throw, the Cavaliers had scored 26 of the game's last 30 points. And 2 free throws for Alfonso McKinney with 8 minutes to go.
We got some full court pressure here.
Giddy Potts trying to poke that one away, pokes it out of bounds. Potts has had a good summer league as well, averaging 10 points, shooting 50% from 3. There's the steal, turned him over with pressure. And 2 points.
Here comes another press. Let's go.
This time McKinney from behind, reaching, gets called for the foul.
When you only have a couple days of practice to get ready, you certainly didn't spend much of it on press offense. Scoochie Smith with a little bit of a careless pass right there.
Toronto's going to continue the pressure. Preston gets it into Colin Sexton. They send 2 at him, and they break the press nicely.
That's a foul.
Sexton, we've had so many fouls that were touch fouls today. Contact and no call. Here's Potts from the corner. Continues to hit the 3. Potts with 5 points off that triple. Preston turns it over. I don't know if he was going to walk into a three and then surveyed what was happening under the basket. A Cleveland turnover with 7:23 left in a 13-point game.
How could you know, Mr. Kestisher, if Billy didn't know what he was going to do? There's no way.
So the second unit for Toronto using a little pressure. 7 points in the last 2 minutes. Led by Giddy Potts, 2 more, and it's an 11-point game.
James Posey's thinking about a timeout. One more miss and a Toronto make.
And another Cleveland turnover. The Raptors, remember they had the 4-point third quarter? They had 4 points in the 13-minute stretch. They've scored 9 points in the last 2 minutes and change to make this quarterfinal a ball game.
See if we can get Giddy another shot here, Kesty.
Boucher is going to set the screen. Potts. And that's basket interference. Oh, hang on. We have 2 different calls from each side. I think Potts was looking for Boucher. They're going to call a foul.
Oh, wow. I thought they were calling basket interference.
So did I. And I think that's what there were 2 different calls. I think Randy Richardson on our side was getting ready to call that.
What Diedrich have?
Get Brodzianski for the push.
Oh. Boucher rolls. Giddy's not having any of it. That's interference. Something else obviously happened.
Officials are trained on those calls where you're differing. They look at each other, and then one of them makes the call.
Giddy.
Loose ball foul against Toronto with 6:41 to go. Boucher picking up his 3rd.
Malachi gets a rest. It feels like Malachi Richardson's played the entire game.
Comes that pressure again. Cavaliers nearly turned it over on the pass. Sexton inside, in traffic, gets fouled. Nice job to play through that contact and get the ball close to the rim. He'll get to the line for 2. The Summer League quarterfinals continuing tonight on ESPN2 and on the ESPN app. The Blazers and the Celtics next up at 8 Eastern time, and then Philadelphia will take on Memphis, 10 o'clock Eastern, right here on ESPN2.
I get confused, which you know happens a lot every year at NCAA time, because I don't know what's better, a high seed or a low seed. But our 2 matchups tonight, we've got high seeds in one game and low seeds in the other, but I don't know which is which.
I think I always go with 29 and 30 are the high seeds.
Okay.
Even though the 1 seed feels like it's high.
So you want to be a low seed. Well, Boston and Portland,
with that too.
Boston and Portland are going to be, should both be there, and that should be an excellent game.
2-10 matchup in our next quarterfinal. McKinney nearly got stripped.
And then the other one's in the 20s. I mean, we got like, what, 27, 22 or something like that.
It's a 27 and 30 matchup.
No, it can't be 30.
Yeah, Philadelphia was the 30 seed.
Oh, boy, you're right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Toronto 29, Philadelphia 30.
We had the 30 seed
Both
who was
alive.
0-3. I was in the numerology yesterday. The 30 seed was 0-3, and the 3 seed was 3-0 in that game.
Oh, nice.
The matchup. And that was a win for Philadelphia and a loss for Phoenix. We thought we'd see Mr. Ayton advancing, but they didn't cooperate.
Mr. Ayton's Phoenix Suns done here. They had a play in the consolation game. Consolation round on Friday. Denver Nuggets had a real nice start in preliminary play. They got knocked off.
Portland's the team that looks most well prepared to combat the Lakers. The Laker juggernaut looking for back-to-back titles here with their veteran guys. But I like Portland. Portland's got some experience also, which obviously will not be the kiss of death for Portland in the quarterfinal today. They won't even get a chance to play them.
Wade Baldwin's played really well for the Portland Summer League team. Zach Collins as well, and Jake Layman too. Boucher trying to get in the way of Billy Preston. Boucher gets called for his 4th personal.
I like Billy. Billy didn't hesitate, took it right at him.
Timeout here in Las Vegas. Cavaliers up 12. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Speaking of the Portland Trailblazers are coming up next. Here's our on the radar guys who have played well here at Summer League just to serve notice. Get a look at them. Devin Robinson's played as well. And Trayvon Blewett coming to New Orleans. He really got this party started quickly for New Orleans and got himself a two-way.
No, did a real nice job. And Christian Wood, I am amazed. He has played so well. Obviously 20 and almost 11 boards a game, but he's run the floor, he's blocked shots, he's made threes, and I'm not aware that he's got any contract or affiliation right now. Very impressive, and again, an important point for our viewers to realize you're not just playing for your team. You're not under contract for this, a particular team. There's 29 other teams watching you, so maybe you end up in another franchise or with another team's G League affiliate, or many international scouts here in attendance also. So it's not just your current staff or your current team that you're trying to impress. Opportunity to be seen by a lot of eyes here in Las Vegas.
Giddy Potts answering with another three-pointer. Raptors staying close with 5:40 to go in the ball game, an 11-point lead, and again they turned it around with this full court and three-quarter court pressure. Elkins trying to reach in. Cavs able to break it here.
Double dribble.
Another Cleveland turnover here in the second half. Christian Wood, of course, played here at UNLV and was a one and done. It's taken him 3 years. This is the third year.
Miami, Shetiello also third summer league here.
Yep. Same thing with
guys got to play, and they should be more comfortable. But I'll tell you what, Christian Wood was very impressive to me.
And Milwaukee Sterling Brown, and we put him on the radar, and that also works for his own team because he's looking to get minutes, more valuable minutes than he had last year on what's becoming a more stacked Milwaukee roster.
And Josh Hart wouldn't necessarily have fit the criteria, but that's exactly what he's done. You have to think that Luke Walton and his staff watching him here play, Mark Madsen was sitting right on the bench, and Miles Simon, they know there's what Josh Hart's capable of doing. I think they're going to feel good about extending his minutes this year.
Giddy Potts with the first free throw, a 14-4 Raptors run, has a chance to get it to single digits here.
I think he heard you call him Nathaniel, and he has really turned it on since then.
He was a career 42% three-point shooter in his 4 years at Middle Tennessee. Trying to beat the 5-second count. Billy Preston runs the baseline, gets it into Holland. John Holland hitting a two.
Well, that's the shot you want against pressure. You're on offense, you want to attack and do something. You're on defense, you want him to shoot it quick. You just don't want him to make it.
John Holland has 20 points this afternoon for the Cavs.
That's a tough call. That was an excellent effort by Boucher to try and get the rebound. I think J.B. DeRosa's got him for an undercut and trying to block out. James Posey not exactly buying that call. Well, it's good. James disagreed with his father when James was a player. Now he gets a chance to disagree with his son.
Complete the circle. Inbound to Potts. Shot clock dipping under 10. Holland with 20 points on offense and defending Malachi Richardson. Screen and roll Boucher, Artis, and Holland defending.
Nice pass, nice catch, but better defense inside. Was that Artis that stripped him?
I think it was Artis.
Good play.
Jamel Artis out of Pittsburgh was a two-way contract player for the Orlando Magic last year. Scoochie Smith, ball in his hands late. 2 to shoot, had it knocked away. And a loose ball foul. I think they got Colin Sexton on the push.
Yeah, that's a good call. Randy Richardson right on it. Giddy did a good job reaching in with this strip, and when he went to get the ball, Colin reached out and grabbed him. Good call.
He was quick on it.
4:21 left. Lakers awaiting an opponent in tomorrow's semifinals. 2 more quarters still to come. Celtics and Trailblazers next up. Malachi Richardson off the catch.
Nick Nurse was telling Giddy Potts when he was bringing the ball up the floor, go to the left side, we're bringing Malachi up top. That's exactly what they did. But you got to get stops, guys, on the other end.
Jamel Artis got deep. Makes it a 10-point game once again. Potts, hand in his face. Preston the rebound.
We talked about Jamel playing for two-way last year for Orlando. He played for the Lakeland team in the G League.
There you go. Use it, come on.
Sexton getting off the shot over Boucher. 2 big baskets in a row for the Cavaliers. 12-point game.
Yeah, Cleveland's had the answer. Nice little run by Toronto, but they, wow, deep shot there.
Couple of quick shots too. Last 2 times down floor for Toronto.
Raleigh's cooled off since yesterday. 5 for 6 from 5 for 7, excuse me, from downtown yesterday. Not tonight. Colin Sexton can take a hit and he can still make the shot. He gets bumped. It doesn't make any difference. He plays right through it, squares up, he delivers. Impressive rookie.
Cavaliers up 12. 2 more quarterfinals to come. The Portland Trail Blazers starting to get warm. They'll have the Boston Celtics on their hands at 8 Eastern time, followed by the Sixers and Grizzlies at 10 Eastern as this tournament-style format culminates with the championship game Tuesday, 10 Eastern on ESPN. Shemi Ojeleye has been impressive. Gershon Yabusele as well for the Boston Celtics. Artist breaks the pressure. Baseline drive. Scoop and one for the Rook.
We'll see that one tonight. Colin Sexton with a good move, the ability to stay up in the air, readjust. Nice look. Nicer finish right there. One hand, underhand pass too. Give Jamel Artist some love for the pass. Colin Sexton for the finish.
Artist's first assist. Sexton with 17, working 18 points here in this quarterfinal match. Raptors got it into single digits, but the Cavaliers have had the answer down the stretch thus far here in the 4th. Scored the last 7 points. As Potts has it out on the wing for Toronto. 3 minutes to go.
It'll be 3 seconds to go on the shot clock in a second.
They found Boucher. Boucher gets off a shot point blank, no good. Got fouled on his way up.
I don't think they called it, did they?
They didn't call the basket, right?
I'm not sure. I guess so. Chris Boucher.
They called the foul and then it popped out before it went in. So he'll get 2 free throws here. Boucher was big off the bench in the first half for the Raptors. See that long wingspan, 7'4".
I like Chris. Played for Santa Cruz this year, no? A little bit when he
did,
finally was okay to play. He got cleared medically.
He got 1 game in with the Warriors during his season with Golden State. Coming back from the torn ACL.
Down the street a little bit. T-Mobile Arena. I'm going to say the wrong thing. What was the name of their hockey team? The Knights, where the Golden Knights played this year.
Western Conference champs
Stanley
in their
Cup
inaugural season.
runner-ups.
Had a lot of people excited here in Vegas.
Boy, did they ever.
I had a chance to, I've only been here for 11 days, but my cousin lives in this town, went to UNLV, runs a restaurant here, and got a chance to walk around Las Vegas and to see the amount of memorabilia that's out there, shirts and hats for the Golden Knights. They have.
I'm going to mess up his name. They just re-signed. Because Marc-Andre Fleury just re-signed.
Goalie. Big money.
We're taking care of all the teams in town. Bill Lambier, side of the highway.
Other side of the highway,
yeah.
Had a great run here in Las Vegas. Mark Jones, obviously, and Chauncey Billups will carry everybody along all the way to the
Jonesy in the bullpen getting loose right now. We don't have the confusion that Porteri Francona had the other night. We get
the lefty or the righty.
Yeah, we get Jonesy in here.
I think Terry gave the right signal, right? Wrong guy came in.
He gave the right signal. It was the communication was on the phone before that.
That's right.
They had the wrong guy warming up.
Malachi Richardson missing from deep. Rebound.
Easy Billy, don't throw an elbow. That's it.
Coming up on 2 minutes to go. Artis will send it out to Preston. Offensive foul, and John Holland comes down on Chris Boucher. Chris gets up quickly. That's a good sign. That could have been really scary. Scarier than it was watching it live.
Look out. Oh, boy, that's amazing. He did come up quick.
took the charge.
Well, plays
Then
like
Hollins
that for why the NBA is so attuned to not fouling a guy when he's up in the air. With the flagrants, the emphasis on the flagrants and review it, and these guys understand this is how they make their living. When somebody's up in the air, you try and stay away from that kind of contact. That one there was inadvertent, but
foul on Artis, off the ball, over the limit. It's his 5th.
might have our first. Could this be the first foul out?
I have not had one in any of the games I have done.
You got to work at it. When it's 10 in the first 3 games here, you got to work on it. And to get to the playoffs, it's back to only 6. Only 6. 40 minutes, 6 should be enough to get you through the game.
Richardson trying to get it inside of 10, can't. Minute 54 to go. Cavs done a nice job after initially succumbing to the pressure. When Nick Nurse threw it out there, done a much better job last 5 minutes.
Get it to Colin Sexton, he'll get it up the floor.
Riding that half-court line, 9 to shoot. Cavs will bleed the clock here, and Artis will step into a 3. Connects. Now they'll check to see if his foot was on the line or not. Dedrick Taylor didn't have a ruling. Now wags the finger. They'll go over and take a look from the replay center. Looks like he planted firmly behind the line.
Well, guys, we're going to say that's close.
We were behind the line, so is young Mr. Taylor. And they'll go to Secaucus, where they've got, what, 9, 12 different camera angles during the regular season. I don't know what they have here in Las Vegas, but they're wired up nicely.
I saw Kiki Vandeweghe, senior vice president, walking around. I don't think he's on the headset or assisting in this. It's a 3 or a touchdown. Dedrick gives a signal.
79-66 with 90 seconds to go. Well, as you look at this Cavalier team with Colin Sexton, Scoochie Smith, John Holland's been impressive today. How does it match up against the Lakers as we get down deep into the tournament? The way Josh Hart has played, we saw the Lakers destroyed Detroit in our opening quarterfinal here in Vegas. Svi Mykhailiuk was very impressive today. Richardson missing on a 3. They'll say it was off of Sexton.
Well, the Lakers, the #1 seed. I still don't know whether that's high or low, but still, the #1 seed did what they were supposed to do, took care of business. And Cleveland, #12 seed, did what they're supposed to do against Toronto, the #29 seed, or are doing what they're supposed to.
Well, Portland has Boston coming up next. Trying to keep hopes alive for a potential 1-2 matchup despite all the high or low seeds, depending how you look at it. Today we had 25, 27, 29, and 30 in action. Chance at a 3-point play. What a quarterfinal John Holland has put together for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
John Holland's done a nice job. He's active, and he's shot the ball. He's actually handled it in transition a number of times. You know, we made the point he was a two-way player last year. John Holland, we talked about guys who have been everywhere. John Holland, Italy, Greece, France, Spain, and Turkey, if I'm not mistaken. That's a kind of circuitous route to get back here to the Las Vegas Summer League.
Boucher fouled out, by the way. So first one we've seen here. That's the 6th and final foul on Chris Boucher, disqualified.
John Holland, if I'm not mistaken, attended both Fordham Prep and JR's alma mater, St. Benedict's Prep in New Jersey. Tristan Thompson also spent a year at Benedict's, I believe.
Got the Fordham Prep mentioned.
You got Fordham Prep in, exactly.
Boucher had 4 blocks and 18 points as he fouls out. Look at John Holland's afternoon, 23 points, 4 of 6 from three-point land, and 8 of 11 from the field for the Boston University Terrier, right?
Yes, Terriers is
Terriers
correct.
at BU.
Brett Brown's alma mater.
That's right.
Played for Rick Pitino at BU.
Kyrie Irving's dad also played at BU just before Rick got there.
That's right. Good call. Dedrick Irving.
And that all ties into Ben Simmons in Australia. We'll get more to that in a bit. There's Jake Layman and the Portland Trailblazers unbeaten so far in Summer League, and he's played so well. They'll get the Boston Celtics coming up 8 Eastern time, and then the Sixers and the Grizzlies at 10 Eastern on ESPN2, and always available on the ESPN app. Have you seen Chauncey yet?
Have not. It's a little early. I think they are using the same throne they carried LeBron in on. They're using that to bring Chauncey into the arena.
He was getting
top of the rim.
Thought he was getting the food spread that you and all of our other analysts, Doris Burke, have had all 11 days.
I did get a couple of Lorna Doones. It was not on the room service menu at the Wynn, so I had to improvise up in the trailer. By the way, the trailer was pretty cool today. It was only about 185 degrees in the trailer for a production meeting.
I don't have my watch on, which has, for the last 11 days, has given me the temperature as soon as I looked at it. We're at only 105 today outside.
We've got a Trigby sighting.
Oh, Trigby Kleinason. Thank you. 7'1" rookie center from Iceland is in the game for the Toronto Raptors, setting that screen. 15 at
for
the
his
top.
first points. Oh, Trig, I thought you were going to shoot it.
There's Kleinason. Well, he's knocking the ball out, but it goes to
international play. Tap it back. North Carolina play on a free throw and an international play. Can't get a rebound, knock it back.
Taught well for a guy who didn't pick up basketball till later in his teens. Son of sheep farmers in Iceland.
You went deep with your research.
We were getting ready for him during the draft. There was talk Kleinason could be a second-round pick when undrafted.
I was going to say he played for the Reykjavik Boys and Girls Club, but I let it go.
10 seconds to go. The Cleveland Cavaliers going to go to 5-1, and they're going to have a challenge coming up in the semifinals tomorrow. They will face the unbeaten top-seeded and defending champion Los Angeles Lakers as Cleveland wins it 82-68, the final. As Colin Sexton in his first summer league, the rookie out of Alabama, get at least a 6th game.
Well, so far the chalk has prevailed in the playoffs in the quarterfinals.
A 1 advancing and a 12 advancing so far in the first 2 quarterfinals, as the Lakers knocked off the Pistons, a 23-point victory, and Cleveland comes up with a 14-point win against a Toronto Raptors team who had lost its first 3 games in the tournament, won 2 straight to get to the quarters. Portland and Boston coming up next, and then the Sixers and the Grizzlies. Zaire Smith in his rookie season with Philadelphia in the Summer League. Jaren Jackson Jr., of course, has been starring with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Zaire, he of the famous trade, which kind of caught us all off guard. You and I were in Brooklyn together, and we thought Mikal Bridges. Ty Lue walking in front of us. Got to get the chance to say hello to Lou.
We get a Summer League hey. Good to see you, Ty. Take a look at Colin Sexton, the man Ty Lue will be coaching this year.
Deep. I like the range. He shoots that shot effortlessly. I love the finish right there. It's up in the air. He takes some hits. Again, I'm going back to it all the time. I like somebody who's strong enough to take a hit and continue to play. Colin Sexton can do that.
Yeah, Colin Sexton has shown us throughout this entire Summer League, and right now standing by with George Sedano.
Thanks, Kesty. Colin, you guys held Toronto to 4 points in the third quarter. How were you able to put the clamps down on them there?
Honestly, Coach told us to just go out there and D up. He said, go deep, have defense with pride, play with pride. Don't let them take that from you. So we just continue to fight, and I felt like we stopped them from what they usually get into. So
speaking of pride, obviously offensively we know what you're capable of, how aggressive you can be, but defensively you seem to love that challenge on that end.
Absolutely. I feel like if I'm getting stops, I have to go on the other end and score it. That's what really gets my game going. It's defense first and then offense.
One of the things your coaches were telling us about you was trying to control the pace and the tempo. How do you feel you've succeeded in those areas thus far through all these games?
Honestly, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I'm going to continue to learn and continue to watch film each and every day. So,
Colin, congratulations and good luck in the next round.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, take care, guys. Up to you.
All right, thanks a lot, George. We appreciate it. Colin Sexton has looked about as good as they could have hoped so far here in Summer League for Cleveland.
Yeah, and he's getting the extra games, which is important. And they featured him. It's not easy when you're the featured guy. He's got some veteran talent to play with, but they've done a good job. I would think Ty Lue's very happy with what Colin Sexton has shown them in Las Vegas.
And the Cavaliers advancing to a semifinal game against the top-seeded Los Angeles Lakers, who were big winners here earlier today. And now we're watching the Boston Celtics and the Portland Trail Blazers get warmed up on the floor.
Terry Stotts in front of us, getting ready to watch his team. What an excellent year. They had tough ending for them. They had such a very, very good season, and then such a disappointing loss to New Orleans in the first round.
There's Jake Layman, who's played well in this Summer League. He's leading the team, averaging 18 points.
He and Caleb Swanigan have done a good job. Shemi Ojeleye showing what Shemi Ojeleye really helped Boston late in the year. Brad Stevens, as he did all year, just putting things together with all the injuries, put them out there in some situations, and Shemi really responded for him. We saw what Terry Rozier did. We saw even Jason Tatum. You hate to say it, but that injury to Gordon Hayward, a horrific injury, really hastened the development of Jason Tatum. And Terry Rozier and Kyrie Irving went down. He was able to take advantage of that.
Jaylen Brown got a lot of minutes as well, and as you said, it trickled all the way down the roster because guys like Gershon Yabusele also got some important minutes.
The dancing bear?
The dancing bear, there he is. Let's check out what he's been able to do so far here at Summer League.
Here's Sean.
Been able to drive the basketball and
quick on his feet.
Yep, we've seen him shoot the ball as well. Dancing Bear's been all over the place. It was a nice straight line move yesterday, and there.
Nobody seems to want to get in front of him, which I can understand a little bit, but it's made him very easy to finish.
He might be the happiest guy on the floor today. His French national soccer team winning the World Cup.
Exactly. It was a good thing that Ante Zizic went back because he'd have been hearing it from Gershon had he stayed, no question.
So that game's going to tip off 8:04 Eastern Time, a 2:10 matchup, Portland against Boston, as Mark Jones, Chauncey Billups, George Sedano will carry you through. For PJ Carlesimo, I'm Mark Kestisher. As the Los Angeles Lakers advancing to one semifinal tomorrow, they will face the Cleveland Cavaliers, who knocked off the Toronto Raptors in our second semifinal, 82-68. More Summer League action coming your way here on ESPN2, and we'll start it off with the Celtics and Trail Blazers. It's coming up next here on ESPN2.